Hi, I'm James Wilkinson and I've been a travel editor for over 20 years. On this show, we're going to take you to some of the world's most amazing destinations, from the big cities to the great regional areas. We'll go inside some of the world's best hotels, bars, galleries, restaurants, and much more. Right now, we're in downtown Los Angeles, and this is Wayfarer. The Arts District near downtown Los Angeles is home to some great galleries, cafes, and craft breweries. Right now, we're taking you inside Angel City, one of the best in California. The Angel City Brewery here in the Arts District of Los Angeles, right near downtown, has over 20 beers, and talking us through them today is Dan Shapiro. And Dan, obviously the brewery's been around for about 6 years, and you're one of the first here in Los Angeles.
The brewery was built in 1915, the building itself. It originally was a cable facility. The Johnny Roebling's company was built here, so we're kind of, turning that heavy manufacturing into light manufacturing, doing some beer. We were the first in downtown 6 years ago when we started, and now there are over 80 in LA County. So it's really kind of grown up in the last few years.
Awesome, and you've got over 20 beers at the moment. What kind of styles are you producing at the moment?
We try to be as diverse and eclectic as the community around us. We kind of take any challenge and try to go with it and try to make something new.
Well, let's try the beers now. This is the IPA. This is the flagship here of Angel City. Let's give it a go. Not too intense on the hoppy scale there. Is that kind of quite characteristic of this beer?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the growth of IPAs over the last decade or two has kind of gone way overbearing with the hops and way overbearing with the bitterness. We try to have a lot of hop flavor and not make it, punch you in the face bitter.
And what else have we got on the menu here? You've got a funky wit I can see, which is more of one of your popular beers, isn't it?
Yeah, so this was our first sour beer that we made. It's barrel aged. It's sort of a take on a Belgian style wit, but we take that beer and then we age it in Sauternes French white wine barrels for about 1.5 years, giving it a lot of funky flavor to it. Nice and bright.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of, you're kind of stretching it towards down a saison territory without going into that territory.
Brewing is an interesting profession to be in because we've been brewing beer for over 10,000 years, so you'd think there'd be nothing new left, and yet there's always opportunity to get creative and have fun. Brewers tend to be creative individuals, Calling this one Speculoos cookie beer.
Speculoos cookie beer.
Yeah, have you ever tried these cookies?
I have not.
They're great. They're perfect with coffee. So the challenge was to take that and put it into a beer. So the cookie flavor you get from caramel malts and biscuit malts.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah,
and all of that spice comes through by just throwing a bunch of spices in there.
It smells amazing.
Yeah.
It does taste like cookies. Wonderful. You've also got a beer here that's almost like a Kir Royale, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. So last year we tried this. We wanted to do a Kir Royale style beer. And we tried it and it didn't work out. It just ended up way too sweet. So instead of throwing it away, we actually put it in barrels and aged it in red wine barrels for about 1 year, and that's what it came out as, Brett Royale.
You can really smell the cassis on that, can't you? Straight
absolutely.
Away. Yeah. That is a really different beer. It's in between champagne and a beer, and it doesn't even taste like a beer. It hasn't really got the heaviness or anything.
That's what I always like to say. I mean, beer can be everything. It's made out of bread, and you can turn bread into any meal. So we turned this one into more of a celebratory, very bright and fizzy, and kind of pops and bottles beer.
Amazing. Now tell us through the Matoli River. This is another even very special beer from your private collection.
Absolutely. So this is more in a saison style. It was aged in Chardonnay barrels for about 1 year using his Chardonnay grapes.
Yeah, it might be my favorite, I think, actually. I think it's that you can really taste the Chardonnay coming through with the oak in the barrels that you've been using. What kind of barrels would you use for this?
We use a lot of different types of barrels. This one we use Chardonnay. Back here we have some Pinot Noir barrels. We've done them in Jameson barrels before, whiskey, sherry, kind of all over the map. Anything we can get our hands on, it's always fun to play with,
Very cool. Well, Dan, thanks for showing us around.
Thanks for having us.
And it's been quite an experience.
Glad to hear it.
Welcome to Union Station in Los Angeles. It's one of the last great train stations in the United States, and it's currently home to the coolest brewery in America, Imperial Western. Let's go inside. We're here at Imperial Western, one of the hottest new breweries in America that's at home in this beautiful railway station. And Brian, what an amazing place you have here.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate you having us here.
There's not too many railway stations like this in America, let alone ones that have a microbrewery inside them.
I can't think of too many offhand. LA's been sitting on this gym for quite a while, and it's now back to life. Our company did a really good job of doing the best we can to bring it back to code, to make it look exactly or almost identical to what it was here, and just pay homage to the designers who put the space together.
And you've got some fresh beer on the premises, but also some great beer from your Arts District Brewing as well.
We've done some collaboration with Arts District, especially starting off, sour beers take a little while, so our Berliner Weiss and some of our sour beers, we have some fooders over there, so we did some collaborations with them to start off a sour beer program here, which, you know, we have oysters sitting in front of us, so some people like champagne with oysters, and we prefer a nice sour beer.
It's one of those things, but the craft beer scene here has changed a lot in 10 years. In fact, it's gone from 0 to almost 100 in 10 years, which is pretty amazing.
Drinking local and knowing the brewer and knowing the product you're drinking is, people want to be in touch with that. Once they started seeing the beers coming in from other breweries at beer bars, a lot of people started thinking, I can build a brewery. And so breweries started popping up a little at a time, and we really focus on the idea of a beer hall. We don't want this a pretentious style restaurant where, you know, there's servers coming to the table and doing. Beer is about relaxing, enjoying the people you're with. We want to have great food like a restaurant, but also have the vibe of a beer hall. We want people to come in and celebrate together. This is where you come after work and you enjoy happy hour, you enjoy your friends and coworkers, but you can come in with a good price, have the world-class beer, and go home to your wife and family.
This is Iron Triangle. Not only has it got one of the best tasting rooms in America, they also produce some of the best beer in Los Angeles. We're here at Iron Triangle, one of the best breweries in Los Angeles. I'm talking to Cale about beer today, and Cale, tell us about this great establishment.
Yeah, so Iron Triangle, we were established in 2015. We started production in 2016, so we're just coming up on our 3-year anniversary. We took this building built in 1903 that was just a horse stable, and we dumped a lot of money and love and energy into it to turn it into this beautiful ode to that pre-Prohibition era bars.
How many beers do you produce?
We have about 12 to 13 beers on tap at any given time, but we keep 4 beers on year-round.
Okay, which of these ones? We should try them, I'm sure.
Yeah, so first off is the Iron Triangle Lager. It's a pre-Prohibition American Pilsner, so it's a light beer-flavored beer. Surprisingly, one of the most difficult beer styles to produce. I like to say with the lager beers, like, there's nothing to hide behind. So if you make any mistakes whatsoever, it's obvious.
Awesome. What else are you known for?
Our next, probably most famous product is our dark lager.
Okay.
So there's a lot of dark beers out there. Most people consider, when they think of dark beer, they think of porters and stouts. And it really surprises a lot of people who say they don't like dark beer, but when they have a taste of that, it like changed the tune.
It's not what I was expecting, actually, in terms of from a heaviness standpoint. It's light in taste.
When people say, I want the lightest beer you got, I make them try that beer first. Our next beer is our Iron Triangle IPA. It's a classic West Coast style IPA, Pacific Northwest hops. It's bitter, herbal, piney, a little citrus. We're not trying to jump the shark with weird hops or, you know, weird techniques. It's just, you know, we think the classics never go out of style, and so that's a classic IPA.
That's a very tasty IPA, easy to drink.
And our last of our core is our one weird beer. So this is our Bavarian style pale ale, which that style doesn't exist. We made it up here, and it's a Bavarian style Hefeweizen that's been dry hopped like an IPA. So it's kind of like a fusion of the Hef and the IPA categories. It makes this really unique sort of fruit salad-y product. It's a little tough to sell because most people have no idea what it is. But again, once people try it, it's definitely this like eyes open moment, and they get really excited about, wow, I've never had anything like that before.
Yeah, and you've got a couple of uniques for us as well.
So this is our llama corn, like a unicorn, but a llama. And this is our venture into the hazy IPA category that's been sweeping over America. Lots of hops, low bitterness, very fruity. It's almost like juice. A lot of people think it tastes like a lot of pineapple-y, passion fruit character. And then last is our newest product we just launched last week, our Oot Stoot oatmeal stout on nitro. So the nitro is the real kicker to that. It's nice and creamy.
But this is not really, it's more of a winter style of beer traditionally, but this is a great summer beer.
Thank you. But our general consensus on all of our products, and I think you can kind of taste it, is we make beers you can have 2 or 3 of. Like, we don't want that beer you sip in a tiny little tulip and you have 3 sips and go, that's the best beer I've ever had, and that's all I want of it. We want you to sit down and just have some pints. Within the beer world, there's a lot of chasing what's new, what's popular, what's your new beer, but people they often forget that the beer that I've made 100 times, I'm really good at. So don't skip the flagships. They're the ones that people really put a lot of time and energy to.
And if you're staying in downtown, you are literally a hop, skip, and a jump from the middle of LA.
Yes, absolutely. 5-minute drive or cab ride, short walk from anywhere in downtown.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us, and congrats on the success so far.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on over.
Thank you so much. Let's now take a short drive to LA's hottest new restaurant and retail destination. This is the ROW. It's a few minutes drive from downtown Los Angeles. And it's a whole bunch of former warehouses repurposed into shops, restaurants, and cafes. Let's go and check out a few spots. The ROW expands across 32 acres formerly known as the LA Terminal Market and is situated at the southwest end of LA's Arts District. Built by the Southern Pacific Railroad between 1917 and 1923, 6 iconic structures have been repurposed into 1.5 million square feet of creative offices, retail, and restaurants. Featuring 15 culturally diverse eateries and 100 curated retailers, the ROW offers Angelinos a single all-inclusive destination that's home to intrepid chefs, artists, and tastemakers. Embodying LA's enterprising spirit, the ROW offers a hub for visionaries and creators of all to further enhance the downtown economy, from cozy artist studios to holiday pop-ups. The ROW connects ambitious artisans with residents and guests who appreciate nuanced style, rule-breaking flavors, and fresh ideas. Before you leave the ROW, make sure you pop into Rappahannock for some freshly shucked oysters. Bon appetit. Coming up on the next episode of Wayfarer.
This one's open during the day. This is definitely one of 2 that are far and away the best taco trucks in the city. There are late night drinks, there's nowhere better than Rick's.
We had great history with the hotel, and we were fortunate that we had all kinds of photography.